to the Bupa Great Manchester Run. This race over 10 kilometres has reached its 10th anniversary. Once again, the city has attracted the very best that road racing can offer. The conditions are excellent, with the sun shining above the 40,000 entrants. The scene is set. The preparations are in process, as you can see, for these 40,000 entrants. And the wheelchairs will be first off. And let me tell you that Simon Lawson, the defending champion, is here. Phil Hogg, the winner of the Great Birmingham Run in 2011 and 2012, is also here. And as far as the women are concerned, Jane Egan, she goes again. She defends the title she won last year. She won the Great North Run last year as well. But Nikki Anderson, the 2010 winner of this Great Manchester Run in 2011, also competes. And so everyone who's anyone really is here. But these are early days. And in fact, Lawson is the second in this race at the moment, just on the left of your shot. And he certainly is a class act. As I said, the defending champion. He was second and fourth in 2011 and 2010 respectively. Well, the women start. Tim Hutchings alongside. A talented field, Tim.
It is a very high caliber field, yes. Susan Partridge being introduced to the crowd there. Partridge, who was ninth in the London Marathon back in April, a much improved road runner, the Glasgow lass. But of course all eyes will be on Tirunesh Dibaba, the reigning Olympic champion at 10,000. Tirunesh Dibaba, that is. And that's Gemma Steele, who is herself third in the European Cross Country Championships in 2011. A very competent road racer indeed these days, the 27-year-old. Yelena Prokopchuka of Latvia, twice New York Marathon winner back in 2005 and 2006. Her previous appearances here have included second, third, fourth and fifth places. Well, Helen Clitheroe, of course, is a local lass. She's from Preston, and a huge roar from the crowd for her there. She's never really fulfilled her potential in some of the track distances, frankly, Helen Clitheroe, but coached by John Nuttall, her career is extending on and on. She's 39 now, and a European indoor champion a couple of years ago at 3,000. But here is the superstar, arguably the greatest distance runner ever. She just needs a marathon time to complete her portfolio. Tirunesh Dibaba in her prime at 27.
On your marks!
Fabrice Mwamba starting this race. And this journey of 10 kilometres, it's a good course actually. It's a very fast course and begins in Portland Street. We'll have a look at that in a moment, because it begins in Portland Street and then goes down City Road, out to Chester Road, Bridgewater Way, the Wharfside Way, round Village Circle, Warren Bruce Road, past the Imperial War Museum there, as you can see. And then back down Trafford Wharf Road, Bridgewater Way, and the finish in Deansgate after 10 kilometres of running. Of course, Old Trafford is on that course as well. We shall probably see that. And Gemma Steele, who really emerged, 3 or 4 seasons ago in the Great Portsmouth Run over 10 miles. And she said that that race gave her the start to what has actually become quite a useful career since then. And Partridge on the right of the shot has been selected by virtue of performance in the London Marathon to compete for Great Britain. She's one of 2 athletes already selected to compete for Great Britain in the Moscow Olympic Marathon.
Well, this is a very fast course, absolutely flat around the centre of Manchester. Go through the 1 kilometre mark there. No sign of Tirunesh Dibaba running aggressively yet. She's right in the middle there of that little group. What, about 12 or 14 athletes have eased away. In the all black, that is Helen Clitheroe, former national record holder for the steeplechase Clitheroe, and a world-class 1,500 metre runner back in the day, back in 2000 when she won the European Cup. But these early few hundred metres to first 2 or 3 kilometres will clip by. The athletes just trying to ease into a nice rhythm at this stage, and glorious sunshine. Conditions are perfect, and certainly Dibaba is on record as saying that she's quite interested in breaking the course record for this 10,000 metres, this 10 kilometres, set back in 2006 by her Ethiopian compatriot Berhan Aderi. It's 31.07, but they haven't gone off particularly quickly.
No, up in that leading group, got a side of Katie Broth, tall figure, just coming into your shot with the red shorts there, and Dibaba all of a sudden just increases the pace. Oh, there's a faller. No, hang on a moment. There's just, I think that is Christelle Dornay of France, and she's up and running, but that was quite a nasty fall actually.
Well, very, very unusual in a road race of this nature. I cannot believe it. I mean, Dibaba there, perhaps causing the panic amongst the group because she surged as she came around that bend, eased into the lead, and the rest of them trying to react. And there was a collision there, I think, between perhaps one of the Japanese athletes and Christelle Dornay, the French record holder at the half marathon and the marathon. That's really unfortunate.
Well, the masses, we've mentioned them before, will be behind the elite, and this is Sergei Lebed, and he's a man, a Ukrainian, of course, prolific cross-country running in Europe. He's not really transferred that form onto the track. Moses Kipsira, brilliant performer in the last Commonwealth Games, the Ugandan, winning the 5 and 10,000 metres. I remember that 53-second last lap in the 10,000, absolutely destroyed everyone. And Wilson Kipsang, that tall figure from Kenyan, the Olympic bronze medalist, Olympic in London last year, won the London Marathon last year as well. More about him in the race. Great North Run champion, of course. But this fella needs little introduction, doesn't he? So popular in the UK, up north, as well as Newcastle, as well as here in Manchester. Haile Gebrselassie, the defending champion, twice Olympic 10,000 metre champion, 2 world marathon records, and so much more. On his left there is Stephen Makoka of South Africa. Makoka may well feature in this as well. He's got a terrific range of performances from 1,500 metres to the marathon. I mean, he's a 3:38 1,500 metre man. But look, the rest will follow. There'll be club athletes, and much encouragement coming from Fabrice Mwamba. Of course, this is just over a year since he had that cardiac arrest. The Bolton Wanderer saved on the pitch himself.
Well, no surprise, Stuart, to see Haile Gebrselassie at the front. He gives no core to this man. At the age of 40, he's chasing the world best for a 40-year-old athlete here. He's still not far off his prime. He is one of those athletes who was a fabulous junior as an 18, 19-year-old, lifting world junior titles. And here we are, more than 20 years later, still producing world-class performances and calling the shots at the moment. The Pied Piper, you could almost call him in this picture, couldn't you? Because there's some big, much younger African names behind him there. But at the moment, they're in the wake of the great man. Just as Dibaba is the greatest distance athlete in history as a female, probably Gebrselassie is the greatest male distance runner in history. 27 world records or world bests to his name over the years.
Well, the Gebrselassie machine in full flow, isn't he? And that's Ishikawa of Japan, who's attempting to stay with him. Behind, in all white, behind him is Wilson Kipsang. Very, very erratic in the Olympic Games, I must say. He went out and was very erratic.
Well, Haile Gebrselassie has gone out very hard indeed from the gun. They've only been running a couple of minutes already. This is reducing down. The cream coming to the top. Sergei Lebed there in the orange strip, hanging on to this very quick early tempo. Kipsang there as well. Probably starts as race favourite, the Olympic bronze medalist in the marathon. Of course, there is a big question mark of whether or not he's recovered from the London Marathon just a few weeks ago when he went out at world record tempo with the leading pack and then came unstuck and ended up finishing back in 5th place.
Well, as you say, this is a dominant lead thus far by Gebrselassie. Well, having a look at the situation now, and look behind Tiranish Dibaba. You can just see in the distance the trailing group, because just after 2 kilometres, between 2 and 3 kilometres, she absolutely just increased the pace. It was a subtle increase, and all of a sudden she was away from this field. As Tim was saying, she is a real world-class talent, twice Olympic champion at 10,000 metres, twice world champion both at 5 and 10,000 metres, and world record holder at 5,000 metres. She's got it all, she really has.
Well, Tiranish Dibaba striding along at a tempo that is way superior to the rest of the field. And this is becoming an exhibition run, frankly. She has the pedigree, of course. She's the cousin of the 1992 and 2000 Olympic champion at 10,000 metres, Daratu Tulu. Here's the chasing pack, though. Gemma Steele and Helen Clitheroe. Clitheroe nearest the camera there in the black. Gemma Steele in the orange top. As they go through 4 kilometres, already Dibaba here with a huge lead, and I think there's a possibility of that 31:07 course record of Adere falling.
Well, Old Trafford being surpassed now. Old Trafford at just 4 kilometres, just past 4 kilometres now, as she wends her way back down and towards the turn. And the crowd sparse at this part of the course, I can tell you, but really there are two contrasting stories. The men, there are what, 6, 7 or 8 men in contention here in the early stages of the race. They're only 5 or 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes out, as you can see. And on the left, Moses Kipsero, the first man to win the long distance double at the Commonwealth Games since 1934. On the left with the green and black, right on the left, making his own pathway just alongside Gebre Selassie. Ishikawa is still there, so is Lebed, and Kipsang is there. And really also Makoko. Makoko, as I said, has got a great range, multiple South African champion incidentally, 15 races already this season, but then the South Africans do tend to race early in the year, and we shall see how he will go at the end. As I said, he's got a great range, he's got a sprint finish. I just wonder whether Gebre Selassie's got the sort of finish that will be required to see off this very talented field surrounding it.
It will be hard for Haile here because he's up against men who are not much more than half his age. Lebed there moving over, I suspect, just wanted to run the shortest line. There's no wind around, so no need to slipstream or shelter from your rivals. But Haile Gebre Selassie, having set the tempo of the race up in the early kilometres, now just tucked in there behind Kipsero, who has a fabulous turn of speed, as does indeed Tirunesh Dibaba there. What I'm interested at, Stuart, is just how quick Dibaba will go here today. Remember, she had to pull out of the London Marathon back in April at the very last minute with the injuries because of the volume of training she was doing. So all that strength, all that power is stored up from the marathon training, and we might well see it unleashed later on this summer. She says she's going to do the London Marathon next year, but she has a summer to contend with first.
Well, certainly behind Adere's record set here in 2006 at 31:07 is very much under threat here today, because on the previous time count she's running that fast.